What? Woo! There was a deer. Talk about lightning reflexes. I still got it. The Tesla Model 3 is the best electric car in the world right now. Yep, I said it. But when you're the best, you start to attract competition from rivals. Rivals like this, the Polestar 2. This is a 5-door electric family hatchback aimed squarely at the Model 3. It has similar technology, similar performance, a similar price, and will appeal to similar types of people. But is it enough to help us tackle climate change? And can it take on the big dog Model 3?
Let's start with the looks. I have to say, Polestar, you've nailed it. I've been told by several people now that the Polestar 2 might be easier on the eye. It has a really nice front end with a lovely body-colored badge, those Thor's hammer LED lights, and a clean profile. Around the back, there's a lovely set of lights with 288 LEDs that flash when you approach or leave the car. There's a couple of places where the Tesla wins in my book. The Model 3 has a nicer stance, frameless windows that give it a premium touch, and better wheel designs. But the Polestar 2 looks like it means business. It looks fast. Let's see how fast.
Right, let me give you some numbers. The Polestar 2 has 2 electric motors, making a total of 300 kilowatts. That's just over 400 horsepower in old money. It'll do 0 to 62 in 4.7 seconds and 130 miles an hour flat out. Now, you and I both know that those numbers aren't good enough for it to hang with the Model 3 performance over there, but I want to show you what the difference is. The fastest Model 3 against the fastest Polestar 2.
3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, I've got an early lead. I'm winning. And there goes the Model 3. Oh my God, that thing's quick. I got a good launch though. I got a decent launch. He's not that far ahead. Back on the brakes.
And just to make sure that wasn't a fluke or a bad start from either of us, we ran it again.
3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, I've got the jump on him. I'm leading. Ah, he's got me back. Do you know what? I started so quickly. I reckon the Polestar has a better launch.
But the Tesla has better acceleration. Once you're on the move, there is only one winner.
That was all very predictable, of course. Oh, another one. They're all over. A little baby deer. Ah, 2 baby deers. Oh man, I'm out here driving electric cars, saving the world, protecting wildlife, until I kill one, of course. Now, that was all very predictable, of course. There's not much in the world that can hang with the Tesla Model 3 performance. This car would have fared slightly better against the Model 3 long range, but even then, it still would have got beaten. The bottom line is that the fastest version of the Polestar 2 cannot keep up with the fastest version of the Tesla Model 3. That's not to say that it's not fun though. You put your foot down and it just disappears towards the horizon way quicker than a normal petrol or diesel powered car for this kind of money will do it. Honestly, it is a rapid thing, the Polestar 2. On the subject of performance, the Polestar 2 can be had with the optional performance pack, which I believe costs in the region of £5,000. That gives you 20-inch wheels, these very fetching gold seat belts, a set of adjustable Öhlins dampers with dual flow technology, and because they're adjustable, you can actually get your hands dirty and tweak them to change the way the suspension feels, as well as a little bit of gloss black on the roof. When you build up a little bit of speed through the bends, what you realize is that the Polestar 2 has a tremendous amount of grip, despite the fact that electric cars tend to use low rolling resistance tires. You throw it into a bend and even though there is understeer, it actually hangs on. Polestar are well known as the performance arm of Volvo, and their experience in making Volvos handle well is really, really obvious here. You feel so much trust in this car going through corners. It's sure-footed. It's actually a lot of fun to drive, way more fun than a lot of electric cars, I might add.
Is it as fun as a Model 3? No, not in my eyes, and one of the big reasons for that is that this performance version of the Model 3 comes with track mode, which allows it to corner almost as impressively as it accelerates. You can shuffle the torque around front to back and effectively turn it into a rear-wheel drive car, so it's playful, and if you find yourself on a private road, it will actually drift all day long.
One thing I'm not so keen on is that it doesn't have a one pedal driving option. They have it labeled on the screen. You can turn one pedal driving off, low, or standard, but even in standard mode, which is the most aggressive, when you lift off, the car slows down quite aggressively, but never actually comes to a full stop. You get to about, 5 miles an hour, and it still keeps creeping. One pedal driving is definitely possible in the Model 3, but not so much in the Polestar 2. On the subject of braking, the Polestar 2 is quite a heavy car. It weighs nearly 2.2 tons, and I suspect that not only affects handling, but also affects this car's braking performance. So I want to bring back my friend, the Model 3, and see exactly how this car performs in a braking test.
So for this, we're going to lock both cars in at 60 miles an hour, national speed limit in the UK, and on my command, we'll do a full emergency stop to see which has the better anchors.
Doing 60, 3, 2, 1, brake! Oh! That's not a bigger gap as I thought. This is a much heavier car by 300 kilograms.
So again, the Polestar 2 doesn't quite match the Model 3, but the gap might not be quite as big as you'd imagine, and the Polestar does actually get its own back in some other areas.
As for practicality, well, the Polestar is actually pretty decent. The first thing you need to know is that it comes with a power tailgate. So if you're carrying shopping, you can open this thing so easily without lifting a finger. However, the Model 3 requires you to actually use your biceps, so it's a little bit more of a hassle. In terms of storage space, this comes with a total of 435 litres, front and back. Meanwhile, on the Polestar 2, you have 405 litres at the rear, plus around 41 litres of extra underfloor storage beneath there. Protect your modesty, Anna. And then at the front, you've got 25 litres of extra storage in the front trunk, although that's slightly more shallow than the one you get in the Model 3. Plus, this is a fastback, technically a hatchback, which means that it has a wider opening, and that means it is actually more useful space in the Polestar than you get in the Model 3. Such a struggle, honestly. Ridiculous. What year is it? Elon, come on, seriously. That's what I'm talking about.
The Model 3 also has a distinct advantage over the Polestar 2 where interior design is concerned, subjectively of course. But I'm also a big fan of the Polestars. The multi-layered dashboard design is gorgeous to look at, and it has a traditional driver instrument display which you don't get on the Model 3. It also uses vegan materials. The seats are made from 100% recycled polyethylene bottles, the interior plastics infused with waste cork products, the carpets are derived from recycled fishing nets, and this gear selector is just genius.
I also love the fact that just above your head here, there is an illuminated Polestar logo reflecting off this giant panoramic sunroof. So when you glance up while you drive, it almost looks like you're following the North Star. Very clever. Now, back to the real world. I think Polestar could have done a slightly better job in terms of practicality in the Polestar 2, because there's not a lot of space for all your bits and bobs. For example, in this central tunnel, there really is a tiny amount of space in this center compartment. There's one cup holder there and a second one just ahead of it. And then up front, you've got a wireless charging mat and a couple of small USB ports. But apart from that, there really isn't anything else. The door bins are also on the small side. Having said that though, the glove box is a pretty decent size and you haven't got to press a button to release it. And around the back, you also get decent leg and headroom. Although in the Polestar 2, there is an annoying transmission tunnel for some reason that you don't get in the Tesla Model 3. Plus, the Tesla also has a much, much bigger panoramic sunroof. So I think, on the whole, that has a nicer interior. Let's talk about technology now. One of the Model 3's biggest selling points is the fact that it's basically a gadget on wheels. Everybody loves the tech in a Model 3. It's got all sorts going on, including the very clever autopilot feature, the self-driving feature which allows the car to basically drive by itself. The Polestar 2 has some very similar technology. It has the pilot package, which includes adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, traffic line recognition, and autonomous emergency braking. In theory, you can turn these on and the car will actually drive itself around corners. However, within about 5 minutes of trying it out, you realize that the system isn't quite as evolved as Tesla's system, you can rely on the Tesla system probably 8, 9 times out of 10. In the Polestar, probably 5 out of 10. The Model 3 also has a really good suite of entertainment features. You got things like YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, karaoke, fart mode, console games, the list goes on and on and on. And while the Polestar 2 is pretty good, it doesn't have anywhere near as deep a catalogue of entertainment features as the Tesla. However, this car can be updated over the air. And in fact, they've already committed to rolling out an over-the-air update that will bring the Polestar 2 in line with some of the features you get in the Model 3. But right now, not so much. But one massive thing that the Polestar 2 has that the Model 3 doesn't, in fact, no other car has this, is that it's the first car to run an Android-based infotainment system. And it has a lot of apps that you might recognize from your mobile phone, including Google Assistant, Google Play, and Spotify. Now, I'm an iPhone man through and through, but even I will admit that the voice assistant is just beautiful. You can ask it to do all sorts of things like, okay, Google, turn on my heated steering wheel.
Okay, turning on the steering wheel heater.
How cool is that? And actually, in the Tesla Model 3, you don't get a heated steering wheel. So that's a massive bonus for people who drive around in cold conditions. You can also ask for points of interest or just random questions as you're driving along. Like, okay, Google, who's Rory Reid?
According to Wikipedia, Rory Reid is an English television presenter specializing in motoring and technology. Currently presenting on YouTube car channel Autotrader. He has presented on Sky.
How cool is that? No other car knows who I am. So as far as I'm concerned, Polestar 2, love you to bits.
One big area worth comparing is range. The Polestar 2 has a 78 kilowatt-hour battery that provides a WLTP range of 292 miles. The Model 3 Performance has a smaller 75 kilowatt-hour battery, but has a bigger 329-mile range. The cheaper Model 3 Long Range can manage 348 miles. The Model 3 also has by far the better charging infrastructure. The supercharger network is far better evolved than the rivals that would work with the Polestar 2. And the Tesla charges faster, with the latest superchargers allowing 250 kilowatt charging, equivalent to a charge rate of around 1,000 miles per hour. The Polestar works with chargers offering up to 150 kilowatts if you can find them, which gives it a charge rate of only 380 miles per hour.
All things considered, the Polestar 2 is a brilliant electric car. It's fast, it's good looking, it's actually really fun to drive, and the technology is really enjoyable. But the biggest thing the Polestar 2 has done is to remind us what an amazing job Tesla have done with the Model 3. Ironically, it's faster, it drives better, it has better practicality, it's got a much better charging infrastructure, and ultimately ticks all the boxes you want in not just an electric car, not a deer, but a good family car.